Hi everyone, sending you infinite love beaming right at you. Hi Facebook, hi Instagram, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everyone who's out there in just existence, whether they're watching this or not. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to beloved Ice Day behind the camera. Thank you to the whole Wild Food Cafe team. Thank you to all the Golden Beehive community. Thank you to all our friends and family. All over the world. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for the sunshine. Thank you for the gift of this breath. Thank you for these bodies that we get to play around in. Thank you for the gift of this mind that is a reflection and able to dock with the mothership of the universal mind and tune in to the thoughts of the greatest genius ever, which is Great Spirit, Great Mystery, Mother Nature. Thank you. So, we'd like to invite everyone to ask questions. The more questions, the better. Comments, feedback, things you'd like us to focus on. Obviously, a lot of our friends and family know the work we do in the world of well-being and thriving and consciousness, whether it's to do with lifestyle practices, the mind, our relationship with nature, our relationship with nourishment, our relationship with relationships, all kinds of questions. So please, if you have your questions, post them. Otherwise, an area that we are covering today is embodying solutions in the new dawn of humanity. So any of you who are aware of astrological aspects will know that we're at the point of the dawning of the second, the second what of Aquarius, I see?
Second degree.
The second degree of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. So we've just passed a 72-year cycle of the first part of the age of Aquarius. It's alright, I don't mind the sun on my face, thank you. Got a wonderful magnolia tree here. Thank you, magnolia tree. So we're moving into the second 72-year period of the age of Aquarius, and big things are happening. Surprise, surprise. So, let's all take a moment to slow down, to pause, to take a deep breath. Something which we are all doing a lot more of right here, right now. Just post Spring Equinox 2020. It is amazing to feel how much is being revealed. To become aware that and remind ourselves more and more that life, that reality is either a blessing or a blessing in disguise. And the more that we can live like that and remember that all those challenges, all those things and people and situations that can push our buttons personally or globally, they are either, if they're not obviously a blessing, they're obviously a blessing in disguise. And we can look back at the past to see how this is true in all of our lives, personally and planetarily. Some people may still find situations and circumstances which just look like curses or look like something horrible, problems. But there's always at least an equal amount of people out there who see the most challenging things we've gone through as individuals and as a planet, as a species. They're able to see the blessings in disguise. And that really is alchemy. And that's something that is within our own power. And everything that makes a difference is within our own power, which starts with the clarity of our mind, our attitude, of course, that's served by being an attitude of gratitude. And when we investigate, we look, we inquire into any situation, into any button that has been pushed inside or outside seemingly. It's through the attitude of gratitude that we reveal and uncover and transform via the alchemy of appreciation something that seems like a curse or a tragedy into a blessing in disguise. It just takes a broader, higher, wider, deeper perspective. And that is always accessed through thankfulness. And of course, we need to build momentum with this energy of thankfulness. If something's really pushing our buttons, it's not the easiest time to look at that thing or that person and try to be grateful for it. That's why daily practices of gratitude are so important, to focus on the things that are easy to be grateful for, to build momentum, to get into the flow of thankfulness, gratitude and appreciation. I just come back from a little run around the garden, round and round and round. Like a teddy bear, one step, two step, particularly under there. And when I run for the joy of it. Don't have a lot of experience being a marathon runner or a world-class sprinter. And I don't run to be competitive. I don't run to get to the end of the run. I run to enjoy every single step of the run, and for it to be ecstatic and vitalizing and energizing. And I know that when I finish a run, I have more energy than when I started the run. That's the kind of run I like. I don't feel exhausted. I don't feel like I need to do recovery. I could run like that if I had no other responsibilities for hours or days non-stop. You just go into deep, blissful running meditation. I like to call it running wild with appreciation. But we can also do a walking version. And it's really good to move the body, breathe deeply, activate the physiology, whilst finding and discovering and remembering things to be grateful for. And we all know this to be true, but we can all practice it more and more. So whether it's making time in the morning, first thing, while you're doing your meditation, your breath work, your yoga, your martial arts, whatever it is, including thankfulness in there, and really appreciation, or another word that we came up with, appreciation, and gratitude is the way to do it. So appreciation meaning that really the essence of what prayer really is in its heart of hearts is thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you Tuesday. Thank you flowers. Thank you toenails. Thank you everything. Things that can seem that we can take for granted. Things that can seem mundane. Things like carpet. Thank you carpet. Things like kitchen roll. Thank you kitchen roll. Things like duvet covers. Thank you duvet covers. Thank you pillows. And of course, if someone's feeling really in a vibration of depression or anxiety or grumpiness, that can just seem really stupid and annoying. But if we actually engage with it and allow ourselves to just have fun and be playful and to laugh at it and just feel the ridiculousness of it, that wow, I'm being thankful for this t-shirt so vociferously. I can't believe I'm being so grateful for a t-shirt and I'm making a big deal out of a t-shirt, but it's funny, it's hilarious, it's silly, and it almost injects life into things. In the same way I like to use the example, there's infinite examples, but from something I grew up with in my childhood, and many of us, was the film about the car Herbie, the car with a personality. Well, you could say Knight Rider, but Herbie was a bit more playful. And really everything can take on that animated quality, and we can feel the spirit of seemingly inanimate objects, and that is moving into what some people might call a fifth dimensional reality, what some people might call the dawn of a new humanity, and not just a new humanity, but a dawn of a new paradise, of a new era on Earth. And that is where we treat every single living creature, including things of the mineral kingdom that seem inert, including things like a bottle, treating everything with that spirit of joyful thankfulness and appreciation that it almost takes on, not just almost takes on, it takes on, or we notice that it has an essence to it, it has a spirit, it has a character. And when we're children, all of us, every single one of us, we know this to be true. Now, uptight, serious adults might think, oh, that child is away with the fairies, and that child is in their imagination, and that child is just playing, or that child is delusional, whatever it may be. But we've all been that innocent child that plays with and talks to, whether it's their Legos, or their dolls, or the blades of grass, or they talk to a ladybug with so much conviction and care and such deep conversation, and come into communion with something, whether it's a ladybug or a Lego brick or you name it, playing with things together and feeling the essence of something. And every single thing that's created in the world around us, whether it's windows or socks, has been made by a human being, that has been made by the infinite, ineffable creator, infinite intelligence, and has been made with intention, has been made in the mind, has been made with thought, has been made with feeling and emotion, and is so imbued, just as we are imbued by that source, creator, within all things, with life force, with character, with essence. And the more we move into this more expanded dimensional reality, some people may call it ascension, as we ascend. Other people might call it descension. So ascension is us moving up from the earth towards the heavens, and descension is us moving from the heavens towards the earth. And really, we are made up of, there are two polarities within us, and we are both those polarities, and those polarities are merging and dancing together within us in every breath, in every moment. Even if we take a moment when we're not breathing, these energies are dancing within us. The earth and the heaven, the fire and the water. So let's take a moment to really feel that right now, and really feel the spirit and the essence that creates all these elements in our hearts, in our heart of hearts, in our energetic heart, right in the center of our being. And feel all the elements inside us and around us dancing. Feeling the lightness of the heavens above, feeling the firmness and solidity, reliability, consistency of the earth below us. And feel the warmth of the fire in our hearts, the fire in our minds, the fire in our bodies, the fire of creativity, the fire of action, the fire of movement, the fire of initiative, the fire of our teenage years, the fire of rebellion and revolution, the fire of passion, fire in our hearts of warmth and compassion and kindness, the fire in our minds of illumination and enlightenment. Feel that fire, the fire that makes you know that you're alive, and that when the light and the fire leaves this body, it's time to move on. And we will be going wherever the light and the fire is going, which is somewhere, because it is our essence. And feel that fire dancing with its polarity, the water. Feel the waters inside your body. The holy healing waters, the spring, the source of life within. Remembering that we are at least 70% water. And the younger we feel and the closer we are to our baby self, we're more like 90% water. We're an ocean. We're a miniature Mother Earth, which we know also is at least 70% water. Feel the living waters within you, bubbling, cascading, waterfalls of liquids, coursing and streaming through your body, through each and every cell, Each and every cell, 100 trillion cells, drinking. And bathed in the interstitial fluid between the cells. Water conducting, water communicating, electricity, thoughts, consciousness, vibration, light, color, nourishment. Feel the springs, the streams, the rivers, the waterfalls, the ponds, the lakes, the seas, the ocean, the clouds of water within. And feel the water in your body connected with all these waters of the earth. Waters in our tears of relief, tears of letting go, tears of joy. So feel the elements alive in our body right now. Feel the character of them, the fieriness of the fire, the wateriness, the emotionalness, the feelingness of the water, the mindfulness, the intelligence, the idea-ness, the inspiration-ness of the air, and the practicality of the earth. So how can we get into a deeper relationship with the multidimensional reality we are? Through appreciating everyone and everything in our lives, starting with ourselves. And it's a daily practice. It really is. And it's recommended we set as many reminders for ourselves as possible to do it in the morning, to do it in the midday, to do it at nighttime before bed. The best way to melt into rest and to go into a deep relaxation and peacefulness when going to bed. Better than counting sheep, better than counting mangoes, is remembering everything and everyone, starting with that specific day, to be grateful and thankful for. With all the easy things first, and then as we build momentum, then it comes to like, oh, that person, that thing that really was quite challenging. Once we've built momentum and got thankful for every fingernail of our hands and every step we've walked in that day, every climbing of every staircase, every delicious experience we've had, then by the time it comes around to Mr. X, we're like, thank you for giving me some contrast today. Thank you for allowing me an opportunity to forgive, for giving me a chance to allow, for helping me realize that I am you and you are me, and we're reflecting each other. And what can I learn from this situation, this interaction? So,
We have some comments and questions.
brilliant.
Sunshine in the UK is saying, can we do this every morning with you? What a way to start the rest of the day.
Oh,
Heart.
hi Sunshine in the UK. Thank you so much. Sure. Keep asking. We'll keep putting out more and more videos as we get into.
Maybe we'll do this
more
in the
rhythm.
morning.
Maybe we'll do it in the morning.
And then Eddie is asking, can you speak more about Aries moon?
Ah,
New moon.
okay.
Not just
Do we know which Eddie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Eddie.
Eddie. There's so many Eddies.
Neutrina Eddie.
Oh, Neutrina Eddie. Hi, Neutrina Eddie. Can we talk about Aries new moon, which is today, right now? Great. So Aries new moon, and Icestay will chime in as well because she's even more of an astrology whiz than me. So Aries is the energy of, Aries is the beginning of the year, the real year, which is now, which is spring equinox. Aries is the energy of fire. Aries is the energy of movement, of initiative. It's the planet Mars, which is quite rightly in some ways perceived as warlike because of its masculinity, because of its pushing forwardness, because of its dynamicness. Then for that reason it is also associated with war, but it doesn't have to be warlike. It's just more of that pushy masculine nature that we all have, whether we're male or females. So key words for Aries would be renewal and internal action. So where are we ready to make a fresh start in our lives? And really, if we look out at nature right now, it's a fresh start. It's spring. So let's tune into the energy of spring in our lives. All the flowers are beginning to bloom. All the green is coming back to the trees. This is the time to really redo our New Year's resolutions, because this is the New Year period right now. And the energy that comes through the cosmos, through the atoms, through the mineral, plant, animal kingdom now, birthing, this is birth time. This is why all the little creatures are born at this time. It's fresh starts and new beginnings. So we're not only in Aries as a sign for around the next, 28 days, but we're in the new moon of Aries, the moon changing every 2.5 days. So it's a super, super time to just go for it. Whether it is whatever your heart is calling you to do, whether it's a deeper yoga practice, whether it's running around your living room right now, whether it's putting on some loud music and dancing, whether that's taking up a new musical instrument, whether that's singing, really is a time for bursting forth like a fresh bud. So, and there's never been a better time. We're all on quarantine. We're all on lockdown. We have all the most amazing information, knowledge, and wisdom at our fingertips. We have all the time in the world, more time in the world than we've ever had. We're in the right place. We're home. We're centered. We're still. We're within our bodies. We're within our families. We're grounded. Literally, we're grounded. You're grounded. Go to your room. This is a time to really tune in to what is into our hearts, into what is true, real, authentic, genuine within us. And to let go of the excuses and the resistance and the, oh, I don't have enough time for X, Y, Z. We all have things that are calling us in our hearts. And this is Mother Nature and the cosmos' way of saying, we've just been given the most amazing golden ticket. We've all just been given Willy Wonka's golden ticket to the chocolate factory. This is the chocolate factory. And more than a chocolate factory, this is a chance to enter into the fifth dimension. This is the chance to ascend to heaven and descend to paradise Mother Earth. This is the time. This is the gateway. This is the stargate. This is the portal for the immortal. It's time to birth your biggest, brightest picture reality of yourself, of your relations, of your interactions, of your creations, of who you're here to be and what you're here to do in the present, in the new era, in the new dawn. This is the most magnificent opportunity we have been given in many, many, many lifetimes. We are so blessed and so lucky right now. And some of us might not be feeling that. And of course, this is not to disassociate or say that people aren't feeling sickness and suffering. That is happening. But when we see how many people are in sickness and suffering compared to, that's reported all over the news. They're never going to report how many people are becoming liberated, having ecstatic, playful, joyful, fun, enlightening experiences. There is suffering happening, but also all that suffering, we all go through suffering on our journey and our path, and it leads to transformation.
There's a question. Sunshine in the UK is asking, how can we understand and explain the spread of illness right now? In your point of view, is there such a thing as contagion?
Yes.
What is immunity really? Question mark.
Well, the most important thing for us to remember is that it's in our mind, that it's in our heart, that it's in our consciousness, that it's in our energy first. And the worst, everything is a virus. Everything is a virus. It's one way of seeing it. Obviously, virus has a very negative connotation. But everything can spread. Everything has a vibration that broadcasts and transmits, so it spreads like a virus. Of course, we know a video can go viral. Of course, love can be viral. Kindness can be viral. Compassion can be viral. And equally, hate can be viral. And sadness can be viral. And anxiety can be viral. And fear can be viral. And greed can be viral. All things can be viral. We are broadcasting vibrations right here, right now. You could call them viruses. And we are receiving vibrations right now. You could call them viruses. How we focus our mind, our emotions, our energy, our time, our awareness, how we focus our focus, determines what will gather momentum and build and snowball in our lives. What is immunity? Immunity is high vibrations. Immunity is gratitude. Gratitude is immunity. Gratitude, appreciation, thankfulness. As we raise our vibration to the higher vibrations of joy, of wow, of wonder, of peace, of inspiration, of enthusiasm, of playfulness, of fun, of love, more and more love, all different types of love, of creativity, of singing, of dancing, of playing, of being close to nature, of enjoying delicious nourishment, of enjoying delicious company, of laughing and giggling. Those things are immunity. And we attract more and more of that into our lives to the degree to which we are grateful for what we have. So, likewise, if we would like anything new in life, whether that's a new car or a new sweater, the only real way to anything new in our lives, a new experience, it doesn't have to be a thing, is to appreciate what we have. So even if you have no car, or you have a car that's falling apart, or a sweater, to just love that sweater, love that car, love that XYZ, whatever it is, so much. Be so thankful for it. Talk to it. Say thank you for the best sweater ever. I love you, sweater. All the times we've had, all the times I've worn you, all the places we've gone, all the people we've hugged, or not hugged at the moment. By appreciating the sweater we have, we are creating an energy field and a vibe that makes us feel like we definitely don't even need a new sweater. Like, wow, this sweater is so perfect, and I could have just allowed this much joy and thankfulness to flow through me over the jumper I had, the sweater I had. And just keeping that vibration up, and all of a sudden you'll have that jumper, and that jumper will give birth to another jumper, will multiply, somehow attract another sweater, jumper into your life.
What are the best seasonal wild foods to eat at the moment? Also the best to protect our bodies right now.
Okay, are we listening to this? This might sound like an answer that's been given before by the wild tribe, but this is the time of year for it. I know, and a lot of you might be like, I know what this is. You're right, it's nettle. Nettle is the food of Aries. We are in the time of Aries, the month of Aries, and we're in Aries new moon. And nothing symbolizes Aries much more, at least in the UK, and so much of the world, than the nettle, the stinging nettle. Urtica dioica, if you want to be a show. And of course, it's quite Martian and warlike and Aries-like in the way that if you mess with it, it's going to sting you. And I know a lot of people, as kids, we used to have our games pitches and football pitches, there'd be all nettles by the side of them. And no one liked the nettles, because if you fell off the pitch, you ended up in the nettles and got stung all over, which was a good reason not to fall off the pitch. And so, nettles were a curse, like torture. Who could like these mean nettles that just stung you all over and left you itching for days? And so it's that sting and that itch that makes them feel quite antagonistic, but we all need a bit of that energy in our lives, otherwise it wouldn't be quite as spicy. So how to engage with nettles? All year round, please make sure you are always stocked with some dry nettles. There are many other great things throughout the year, but always having the nettle available and obviously finishing them fresh within that year, the dried ones that is, would be great. But this time of year, almost from February, but starting to really get into their fresh juiciness right now, around equinox for another few months, you can find nettles all year round, but this is the time when they are young and tender and juicy. And I'll tell you a little story about nettles, just so you can feel the quality of nettles. When I lived with my two very dear brothers and friends, Sky and Stuart, in Brighton in around 2002, I was introduced to the power of nettles. And we lived in a great place with a huge nettle patch outside and a wild bit of land. And I got taught how to forage nettles and how to juice nettles. And we went and picked nettles and juiced whole stalks of nettles. Every day it was my role to go out and pick nettles and make nettle juice for the whole house, and we'd stick it through some kind of juicer that was like a wheatgrass machine, so it could handle a very fibrous thing, and we'd make the equivalent of wheatgrass shots but with fresh nettles. And I'd been trying wheatgrass shots for a good few years before them and felt the intenseness of them, the energy of them, and they can be very stimulating, which is why they're used a lot, and very nourishing and mineralizing. And it's so good to get into that green vibration. Of course, a lot of people use them to substitute coffee, etc. But wow, juicing fresh nettles every day, just even doing it once, even like a little 1 ounce, 2 ounce shot, let alone if you go more than that. But that's plenty to start. You will feel like you have just been plugged back into the electricity, into the mains that you weren't plugged into before. Now, of course, if someone's not used to eating a lot of fresh, wild, living, raw foods, they will notice it a lot more than someone who's used to those things. But even someone on the most light way of nourishing themselves, if they give themselves a nettle shot, they're going to be like, whoa, that's once. They're like, please, if you don't feel that the first time, just keep doing it every day for a month, and tell me your life has not changed forever. And then it's not just changed because you feel amazing off drinking some nettle juice. It's like, oh my goodness, this priceless resource has been under my nose, has been under our noses as a culture for our lifetimes, for generations. And we've been eating all kinds of heavy stuff that doesn't make you feel magical. Why would we settle for that when we have this magical resource right on our doorstep? And that's just nettle. Friends, beloveds, there's so many other great greens growing there right now, like dandelion. But start with that nettle. Do the nettle challenge. And we're not going to go into it in this video, but how to pick nettles, how to prepare nettles, and of course you don't need a big fancy juicer. You can do it in a blender, blend the nettles with a little something sour like lemon or baobab, with some water, and of course you don't have to, if it's really intense and green for you, you can blend in some dates or some apple or something sweet, and you can make a little more intricate recipes. You have another question?
Yes, Therapeutic Chef is asking, which foods are absolutely essential amongst all this chaos, please? Love your knowledge.
Cool. What's this person's name?
Therapeutic Chef.
Therapeutic Chef. Hi, Therapeutic Chef. Thank you for your question. What foods are most important? Well, equally as there is the most important foods, and then it's also to remember the least important foods, and to let go. Now is the time to let go of the least important foods.
Overheated.
So sorry if that cut out on the other video channel. We're still broadcasting on the phone overheated. So remembering the the least important foods and let them go. And it's easier to let go of the least important foods when we're adding in more of the most wonderful foods. But it takes some conscious intention at both sides. So it's something that we can have intellectual knowledge on, but the most important knowledge comes from our feelings, from using the internal barometer. Which foods make us feel heavy, slow, clogged up, blocked up, mucousy, and which foods leave us feeling totally energized and light and grounded and feeling phenomenal. So a lot of people are becoming more and more aware of the wonderful elderberry. Now, it is our job this year, whether we're in England or most places of the world, it's our job to appreciate the nettles and the elderberries and to grow them. The best of nature's medicines is growing under our noses, under our feet, on our neighborhoods. Elderberry grows in so many places. In so many places it's cut down like a weed. When we visited Lithuania some months back to do a retreat, we were by a beautifully clean river going through Vilnius, the capital, and someone had just come down and chopped down a whole row of elderberry trees full of the most perfectly ripe elderberries. I must have foraged a good 5 kilos. I didn't even have to climb a tree to get them. They were just there, just heads of elderberries. Now, the thing to bear in mind about elderberries, I would like everyone to know that it is 100% essential to have totally ripe elderberries. And because unripe elderberries can make us purge quite profoundly.
What can people do with dry elderberries, they're asking?
So with dried elderberries, so when you're getting fresh ones or dried ones, it's important that they're ripe. But for safety's sake, until you really know what you're doing, don't have them raw. Cook them. Personally, I find it's fine to just put them on to boil and then leave them for at least 20 minutes steeping before eating. If you're getting dried ones, look at the dried elderberries and check that they're all super dark black purple and they're none green and that there's no stalks, because the green unripe ones and the stalks will make you purge profoundly, and you don't want that. So once you've made that tea, you can use that tea. I made a hummus with it the other day. Wow. Elderberry tea hummus. She's such a whiz. It was delicious. But we put it in teas, something that we drank today, and we've drunk many times, and we've shown quite a few friends this recipe is, it's good having elderberry tea on the go, and that would mean making at least 50 grams of dried elderberries. If you've got a lot of friends that you are nourishing with it, or there's a couple of you and you keep them on the go and drink a lot every day, then 100 grams prepared in the way I mentioned. Then you've got cold tea ready and you can add it to smoothies. So we've been doing banana and elderberry tea smoothies. Now, when they're fresh and they're ripe, they give a much more brilliant purple, black curranty colour. But the dried ones are a bit more like a browny purple, like dark, like almost like a coffee. So a banana and elderberry smoothie doesn't look as good dried as it does fresh. And if you want to make it look extra pretty for your friends, family, kids, loved ones, then we threw in a few frozen wild blueberries we have that really keep the colour. So that's 3 recipes for you in one go. You want a great recipe? Simplest one would be just the bananas. Bananas are great in some ways. One is that they're super cheap right now and they're organic. That is the reason why we have bananas in our household right now. There are huge periods of time where I haven't eaten bananas, and I don't recommend them to be a staple of nutrition. It's great that they can be organic, it's great that they can be raw, but they're not most local to somewhere like England, and they are one of the more hybridized things, which is the opposite of wild. But bearing in mind that there's not much fresh fruit available in England right now, and things are on lockdown, bananas are very available. And a lot of people love bananas. And there's supposed to be many health benefits of bananas. If I can find more, there are many other fruits that bring greater joy to me personally, and if they're available or if I've grown them myself and they're in abundant supply, then I'll enjoy those probably over bananas. But just knowing that how much bang for your buck you get relatively of like, bananas are very affordable. And a lot of people are doing their best to curb their budget right now. So one recipe is just banana and water. Simple as. And you you drink as much of that as you need. It might be one bunch of bananas. It might be 2 bunches of bananas. And then second recipe would be just bananas and elderberry. That would be, the real magic. The real magic is in those elderberries. And you're really supercharging that banana by adding those elderberries in there. And you could do the same thing. You could do it with nettle tea. So there's another recipe. Simple recipe. Now you won't get the most beautiful color again, nettle tea and banana. But if you want to make it super green instead of a bit greeny brown, you might throw in some other green powder that's a really bright green powder. That could be some moringa, it could be some chlorella, that could be some spirulina. And then if we're jumping back on the purple elderberry version, putting a few frozen wild blueberries in there or anything that's got that bluey purpley color will really make it pop. Then you always have the option if you want to just give it a bit more. Some people like their smoothies a bit creamier and can't, they just like creamier smoothies. I still love creamier smoothies. So if I'm making it for her, I might put some sesame in there or some coconut chips just to give it a bit more creaminess, or some tahini, which of course is just creamed sesame, or some creamed coconut. So, wilder foods. Which are the best foods to have right now?
Oh, we have other question now.
Okay, hopefully that gives you a good start. Wilder foods, and the most important food. Can we please remember this? Can we all please remember what the most important food is? Let's take a second. Breathe deeply. And really feel and contemplate and tune into the place within us which knows what the most important foods are. Just allow your consciousness, your heart, your love to guide you into remembering what the most important foods right now are. Okay, here goes. We've already shared the answer. We just shared the answer what the most important food is. 2 of them. Love. Loving everything. Being thankful. That is the most important food. The more we can get ourselves into a high vibe state of love, appreciation, joy, that is the most important nourishment. Let us never forget that and put any nettles or elderberries above that. And the second most important food, other than the vibe, the mental, emotional, spiritual food of love, second most important food, I said it right at the beginning when asking everyone, let's take a breath and tune in. Yes, you're right, it's breath. It's not just air. It is air, but it's ether. It's life force. It's not just oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. As elements, they all have gen at the end. Oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. Because they generate life. They give life. They are life force. We breathe in the force. We breathe in prana. We breathe in chi. There's many names for it. Breathing deeply. Breathing ecstatically. Breathing while you're making your food. Breathing before you eat your food. Like, that just happened for a whole age. People went and smoked a cigarette before food or after food or on their break. Let's keep the habit of being centered, focusing on our breath, and breathing intentionally and deeply. It doesn't have to be through this or this, but through this. Let's do that for 5 minutes whenever we can. Definitely 3 times a day for 5 minutes. If you can do 15 minutes 3 times a day, great. If you can do an hour 3 times a day, fantastic. It will give us more energy. We will feel more fulfilled, more whole, and more complete, and with less desire, less of a hole to need to fill with other things that are heavier. And those can be heavier foods and heavier habits and lifestyles.
Sunshine in the UK is asking, how can we overcome our past traumas, or what may be buried or unresolved? Do we need to go through each of them to bring about resolve?
Good question, Sunshine in the UK. I'm loving the sunshine in the UK right now. Yes and no. So it's always good to ask ourselves when we've got a question or when we're meditating on something, to always see both sides of it. So the best way to transform trauma is to wake up into higher vibrations. And we wake up into higher vibrations through everything that we have reflected and reminded each other of recently, and through the breath. And as we lighten up, sometimes a heavy, stuck thing that's lodged somewhere in our mind, in our heart, in our ear, in our throat, in our lungs, in our kidneys, in our liver, sometimes a boulder or a blockage, a heavy part of ourselves that we're attached to, that we might think that we're addicted to, becomes dislodged and suddenly goes from being lodged on the side of a riverbank or a boulder that's blocking the flow of river. Suddenly the river pushes it and that boulder gets released. And we have a clearance, but sometimes that clearance comes to the surface and we need to process it. We need to let go of it. We need to acknowledge it, and we need to say thank you for it. We need to own it. We need to take responsibility for it. We don't need to go through years of trauma therapy and counseling for it. We need to honor ourselves and it. We need to honor ourselves and the other people involved in that situation and say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I let go, thank you for the blessing in disguise, thank you for the gift. Because all of those seemingly traumas have within them a gift that is a blessing in disguise. And as we open up the blessing in disguise, we raise our vibration, and our misperception that it was just some terrible trauma that only had negative consequences melts and drops away effortlessly, and we keep rising and ascending again. And other blocks or boulders might come to the surface, but now we have remembered the magical key, the alchemy of appreciation. So, I would like to invite all of you beautiful beings to the Astrology and Health, what are we calling it, Zoom call, with the wonderful, talented, magical, beautiful Zoe Hind, astrologer and druidic priestess, who is reawakening all the beautiful ancient knowledge and songs and wisdom of this land. And we're going to be having that at 7 p.m. on Monday coming up, with a bit of meditation with Aiste and Joel at the same time. So please come and join us there. We look forward to seeing you there. All of the links are on the social media channels. And other than that, just a big thank you to every single atom of creation, to every single photon of light, to every single being in all dimensions, in all planes. Thank you for every single one of our friends, our family, our guests. Thank you for all the creatures of the earth, the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom, the birds, the marine life. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this collective awakening. Thank you for this opportunity that we've all given each other to step into our magic, to step into a new era of more fellowship, more friendliness, more communication, more wonder and more awe. We love you so much. I stay sending her love too. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you soon. Stay wild and wonderful. Peace.